Up here you've got just tells you little like information like what you can do at the time. So my ruler is currently unmarried. I can pick an ambition and I can press de jure de card claims. So I can just means I can go to war with this particular place if without having a casus belli. What a casus belli is, it's basically a cause for war. I don't know what it means. I think it's Latin. I think all it does is it means it gives you a cause to go to war. So so basically it's not regarded as you don't get a lot of hatred towards you. In other Paradox games you can actually go to war without a casus belli. So like Hearts of Iron, it's not required because that's just based in World War II, so pretty much war is constantly going on. In Victoria 2, I think it tells you when you get your casus belli. You can go to war, I think, without one, but if you do, it's regarded as you get infamy points. But there's no such thing as infamy points really in this. They need to worry about because they're not part of the list. In the top right, it just gives you basically what your country's stats and your as a personal stat. So that's your wealth. So I have 90.648 gold on me, 40 prestige, 20 piety, demens size. So I can't make it too big because if it overgoes that, it tells you there. If it's too big, if your demens is unacceptably big, you'll start to take taxation penalties and your vassals will grow resentful. Which it's very easy to your demens. But luckily I've got a lot of spare pace in my demens. I've only filled up half of it. So that's not too big of a worry. Realm size, which is just a total number of holdings, is all it is. And then your final score. Now currently this is at 0 because my ruler hasn't died yet. But pretty much what happens is your prestige points and your piety points get added together when your ruler dies, and they go into a final score. And then it can go in a negative. Say your prestige is at like minus 500, which you have to be exceptionally shit ruler in order to do that. And piety, I don't even know if you can get negative piety. I've never had negative piety, but it might be possible. So, and pretty much that's your base score. And then when your next inheritor gets it, say, as very positive prestige and piety, that gets added onto the score when he dies, and etc, etc, etc. Just because it's only your ruler though, not from other members in your dynasty. It's only from your ruler when he dies is what adds up. Didn't that? But anyway, I'll get started. First thing to do, I'll always do, is make an ambition, which always should be, if your ruler isn't married, is get married. Just because it gives you 10 piety pretty much for free. And now I'll arrange a marriage between King Sancho. I don't want to marry a courtier because I don't like marrying people from your own realm, because if I just click her, I get minus 300 prestige for doing it. So it's pointless. I mean, you might as well just marry a rat or tramp. But at least it is a courtier though. A courtier is not as bad as a commoner. I mean, a commoner is just, well, members of the public, but it's the one above. It's still regarded as bad. It's just like, it's basically just a person who's in your, kind of like your court, but is not really relevant. Doesn't have major influence. So what I'm going to do is, instead, is go down to here, where it says find characters. See, it says search realm, search vassals, and search your court. So realm is just, well, it's your entire country, so it'll be all of Castile. Your vassals, which is very similar, it's just from all people that serve allegiance to you, and your court, which is the people who are closest to you could say. I'll always go search all. Gender, women, more appropriate. Don't want to be gay, because that's obviously frowned upon at this time. Prison, no. Married, nope. My religion, yes. My culture, don't really know. And great house, yeah, sure, why not. So this tells you all the ones that you've got. So I don't want to marry someone that's 13. I mean, even now that's frowned upon. Back then, oh. So I could marry the Duchess of Tuscany. She's a charismatic negotiator, diligent, patient, and zealous, as well as charitable, and she's got pretty decent stats. So I'm probably going to marry her. She's 20 as well, so that's a good age. Let's close that down. Arranged marriage between you. She'll accept, and again, just showing the very common errors happening this. Would gain 6 prestige, yet it says 7. And then it says plus 6 next to it. So that's a bit odd. So I'll click yes to send that. So it still says rule and marry because he hasn't married yet, but close enough, he will. What I'm now just going to show you is just these, what all these are down the bottom. It showed you a brief overview of what they were like in the startup screen. So you've got the terrain, which is all like that. You got independent realms, which is what I showed you earlier. Then you've got diplomatic relations. Now I think the way this works is green is pretty much your place, so all that's obviously going to like you. Blue I think means they have a very strong relationship with you, and yellow means the content is probably the word to put it, and if they're not coloured means they have no opinion. Religion, so you see majority is Catholic. Then you've got all the Muslim ones down here, Orthodox here, but Catholic's the majority, as you see. You've got cultures. This is what you could call modern day kind of culture, really. So it tells you here that English is even though it's England, they're Anglo-Saxon culture, and Russia, that area there, which is not quite Russia yet, but they're Russian culture. And Poland is a Polish culture, Holy Roman Empire, German culture, etc. The economy, so green represents places which have a lot of wealth that generate through taxes, and red's very poor. So as you see, Norway is very, very poor by the looks of things, but generally as you get further down south, the wealth seems to be a lot better, typically, apart from the extreme down south near Mali. Then you got the de jure duchies, which is, well, it's the duchies that, again, similar to what showed you in the first screen. So you've got York, which is that's one duchy. There, Duchy of York, which is them 3 areas here. The Duchy of Northumberland, Duchy of Lancaster, like that. So in mine it's Castile is that area, even though I don't own that. So if I own that, I could have the Duchy of Castile, because it's technically not complete. I own most of it, I own them 3 bits, but I don't own that bit. So I'm not got a complete Duchy of Castile. De jure kingdoms, which is very similar, really. De jure empires. Now this means if they expanded to a certain size, you get to form a certain empire. So if, say, England conquered all of the British Isles, they'd be known as the Empire of Britannia. Holy Roman Empire already is an empire. But if I conquered all of Spain, I could be the Empire of Hispania. France is Francia, which is very creative name, I must say. And then you've got revolt risk, which red being mean it has a high revolt risk. What did I say that? Revolt risk. I said revolt risk. God, I'm German. So everywhere's green at the moment, but that'll change. Dynasties. This just tells you, well, what dynasty they're from. So my dynasty is all Jamina. It's House Jamina. The opinions, which works similar to diplomatic relations, really, but I think it's opinion of you generally, not your country. So all of its majority's green, but unsurprisingly, Muslims don't like me. Damn you. Direct vassals. Don't quite know what this screen is, but not really that important. I don't really need to go on them. Republic trade zones, that's only important to republics. So that's Venice, Genoa, Pizza, and there's another one, but Lecce, is that? Yeah, Lecce, I think. I think's the other one. And lastly, you've got family trade zones, which, as you can see, is nothing. So, but the vast majority we're going to be using is just independent realms. just because it's simpler. It's one that you always kind of need to use. So I'm just going to advance time now a bit, so I do that by clicking space, and if you look here, it's moving at 1 speed, but I'll increase that, 2, 3, 4, there again. King Sancho II and Duchess Matilda I have gotten married. We can collect a royal heir duty to pay for the ceremonies. So I can click less to gain 25 gold, or I can gain 200 prestige. Prestige looks better to me, so get in. And yes, so I am now married. So I've fulfilled that ambition, so I just got 20 piety just about for free. So I'll pick another one. I shall have a son, because that's what I need. Because having a daughter is like, it's the worst possible thing you can have. I mean, there's only 2 possibilities. You've got a very good possibility, which is having a son, but you have a daughter that don't really have purpose, apart from, I suppose, going for alliances. But alliances aren't really necessary on this game. I mean, okay, they might be necessary if they're close by you. So, since I'm allied to Leon and Galatia, they're quite important. I think I'm also allied to Navarra, I think, as well. King of Leon, King of Navarra. So I'm allied to Navarra as well, so that's kind of helpful because they're nearby. But say if I allied with Sweden, they're all the way over there, they're not going to help us, other they just can't be bothered. You're like, nah, well, fuck you. Do it yourself, you little mug. And that's where how wars start, is just because you have an argument with a Swedish fellow who is blonde and doesn't like you and is probably a midget. So actually I've just realised what I forgot to do. Assign my council certain jobs. So I'll do the chancellor one last. The marshal, Rodrigo Diaz, was 27 martial skill. I'm pretty sure he's the best starting marshal in the game, martial skill wise, I think, but I'm not 100% certain about that. But he gets to choose one of 3 things, so I can get him a suppress revolts, train troops, or research military tech. For the minute, I'll get him research military tech in the capital. My steward, he can collect taxes, oversee construction or research contact, collect taxes in the capital. Spy master, you can scheme, build spy network, study technology. I prefer using study technology on this one because scheming, that's, well, I could do on scheme, I suppose. Could I don't know. I'll go study technology. I just prefer using it. It's best to use this one though if you study technology somewhere far away, because if you do it anywhere close by, more than likely they'll go to war with you. So I wouldn't do that. But I'm just going to send them to the Byzantine Empire just because they're the biggest empire in the game. So it's worth doing it over there.